let's just say it. Is Javier Mendez actually a brilliant coach? Or is he just a guy that happened to be holding the spit bucket when Khabib rolled into the gym with his Dagestani dream team? Now, before you get too angry, I'm not necessarily saying that he's a crap coach, but let's just take a look at it. Let's start with the bear wrestling elephant in the room himself, Khabib. When Khabib walked into AKA for the first time, he was already 16-0. Even if most of them wins were against fucking bin men, and he'd already been drilling Sambo since he was a fetus. In fairness to Javier, he did in fact himself say when Khabib came to AKA, he was already a master. He already had his style, I just helped him make some small adjustments to his striking. Small adjustments to his striking, you say? Khabib's striking is about as refined as John Jones' fucking driving record. Even after all of those years with Javier as his striking coach, Khabib's striking is still functional at best. And then you've got the rest of the Dagestanis, who all came from that same factory of human wood chippers. They were all moulded by Khabib's dad, and he did a great job. Javier just didn't create them. He inherited them. But that's not his fault, of course, so I'm not going to shit on him for that. It just is what it is. So let's take a look at some of the fighters that Javier's trained that didn't grow up wrestling goats on a cliff. We got DC, who being an Olympic wrestler also came in with a preloaded world-class skill set. Javier again will have helped him develop his striking, and watching DC strike was like watching a drunk dad throw hands at a barbecue. Having said that, DC striking is effective, and this ain't a fashion show, is it? So who gives a shit what he looks like, I guess? You got Luke Rockhold, who again came into AKA with an elite skill set, and if anything, it was his striking defence that was probably his weakness. And obviously you got Kane, who was a preloaded monster. Look, I'm not saying that Javier is like the worst coach in MMA or anything. He's obviously doing something right. I mean, he's clearly providing value, and AKA has had a lot of success. But it's hard to argue that Javier has been like the secret behind it all, when he's had so many generational talents walk through the door. When you hear Javier talk in interviews in the lead up to fights, he just sounds like he's in awe of the Dagestanis. He just can't get over how good they are, rather than being all like, we're working this out or we're figuring out that. He just can't quite believe it. And it doesn't happen very often, but when one of them loses, like Umar against Merab, fuck me, he can't really take it.
The room and I see his hand and you look at his hand here and this finger's all the way down here, broken, and I'm like, my eyes just got really wide, like, whoa.
Oh my God.
What the heck, you know? And he was, you know, I just said to him, I said what I felt. I said, you know what, Umar? I felt, in my opinion, I felt you won 3 out of the 5 rounds, and maybe I'm being biased, but I felt in the 5th round, the reason why you didn't win is because he showboated his way to winning that. Like,
yes.
He acted like the victor where you were tired, you know, and that's why I feel he basically took it from you because you led him, but I felt you won.
Surely it's the fighter's job to be delusional about why they lost, or to be insisting that they won. Should the coach not be looking at it objectively? How's he going to create a game plan to beat Merab if he can't accept how the first fight actually went? Look, I'm really not just hating. He's obviously a good coach. It's just that there's coaches out there that seem to make more of a difference to the fighters that they work with. You got like strategy of Greg Jackson. Coaches like Trevor Whitman that seem to really craft the fighters that they work with. And there's coaches like Eric Nixick that seem to be brilliant at working with fighters mentally. They all seem to have like defining qualities as coaches. But hey, maybe that wouldn't work. Maybe that would just fuck things up for fighters like the Dagestanis. Maybe if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Just open up the doors, facilitate practice, and let them do their thing. I mean, it's working, ain't it? So maybe I should just shut the fuck up. It's all good though. Let's see what they can come up with when Usman eventually gets his rematch with Merab. Or if he's lucky, Ovalian will pull off the win and Umar can slip in there and take on Sean. I'm sure they'd be more than happy with that scenario. And in fairness, Javier does seem to have come up with an incredible strategy for Islam. I mean, if you don't ever fight, you can't lose, can you? Genius. Anyway, if you like this video, give us a sub, check out this playlist of recent bangers. See you next time.